Welcome back to Grief Inspired. My name is Catherine McNulty, and today I am going to give you a walk through a grief journal that I created. It's called Finding Hope, Love, and Grace in Grief. And this is another attempt for me to support all of you. This was an idea that I proposed to my YouTube audience, and overwhelmingly they said, yes, we need a journal, but we need a journal that's going to give us some writing prompts to get us started, because a blank page is far too intimidating. And if you know what that feels like, I want to assure you this will be a good choice for you. And again, this is an offshoot of my larger mission, which is to bring light to the darkness of grief, to provide the support to you as you grieve, and to give you hope for your future, to remind you not to grieve alone, and then finally to encourage the growth that is required to find meaning in loss. And the thing of it is that I've learned through all of the years that I've been grieving and all of the people that I've spoken with is that you have to lean into the grief. You have to lean in, and you have to be willing to do the work. And if you're willing to do that, you will be rewarded. If you're willing to do the work, you will learn about yourself, you will learn about your life, and you will learn about the world around you. And you'll find joy and happiness again. And if you do the work, you'll be able to find meaning in the loss, and then be able to put that back out into the world. And so you may not be able to see that now, particularly if you're earlier on in your grief, but that's what's possible. And so I created Grief Inspired because I want to redefine the way I grieve. And I want us to be able to focus on the gifts that come through our grief, rather than the despair of loss. So let's talk about the book. A Grief Journal, Finding Hope, Love, and Grace in Grief. Yes, you need hope. You cannot grieve effectively if you don't have hope. If you don't believe that you can get through this grief, you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be watching these videos. But you need to have hope. You need to believe that you can be happy again, and that you can do this grief thing, and you can get to the other side of that. So that's the first thing that this journal is going to help you do. And then love. Love is so important, because the reason why you're grieving, and I'm going to read a short passage in here in a little bit, but the reason why you're grieving is because you love the person so dang much. And that's grief. You can't have grief without love, and you can't have love without grief, because none of us are immortal, and the people that we love are going to die or already have died. And so you can choose, there's a choice there to focus in on the love. So this journal is going to help you do that. And then finally, grace. You got to have grace in grief. And when I talk about grace, you know, the number one thing that out of all of my videos, the ones that are most popular are the ones around guilt. We feel guilty. We feel guilty that we didn't do things. We feel guilty that we did do things. We feel guilty that maybe we didn't do enough, or we made the wrong decision. We wish we had been better. And what's so interesting in that is that it makes it hard for us to forgive ourselves. And that can really keep us stuck, and it can paralyze us. And so in order to step out of that, in order to find forgiveness for ourselves, it requires grace. And I love grace because if you look up the definition of grace, grace is something that you receive without necessarily having to have earned it. And so grief is a practice in giving ourselves grace and realizing that we should forgive ourselves, that we are not perfect, that yes, maybe we made mistakes. Maybe these are the things that we could go back and change if we had the opportunity. But when we don't, there's an opportunity to give ourselves grace. And I think that these are all important in the grief process. And so with this book, there are, as you open it up, there are writing prompts in this second section here for every day that you dive into the journal. And the writing prompts are going to help get you started, give you a topic to spend 30 seconds on and say, what do I really think about this? And then to jot down some notes. So if we dive into the beginning, so there's a dedication there, talks about what my grief-inspired mission is. But I want to read this because it's, this is a portion of what it means to be grief-inspired. But here's the thing, is the way that we grieve is one of life's greatest tragedies. We don't acknowledge that one day we will all experience the loss of someone we love and the pain of grief. And as a society, we are not taught how to grieve. We believe that asking for support is a sign of weakness, and we grieve alone. Is that you? Have you been holding back on asking for support from me or from anyone else because you think that that support is a sign of weakness? And here's the last chapter that I want to read is most people don't realize that grief is not at all about death. Grief is what we experience after losing someone we love and the struggle we face as we go on living without them. Grief is not about death. Grief is about life. Being grief-inspired requires believing that we can move through our grief, learn from our struggle, and find hope for a new and often unexpected future. It focuses on teaching how grief affects us, how it can shift the way we see ourselves, and how it changes the way we see the world around us. So let's go through a day in this. So every day in the journal, you're going to put the date. And again, I don't want you to be overwhelmed by, if you don't do it every day, it's fine. Just do it when you feel compelled. The first section here, you can see, says, what emotions are surfacing today? Observe what is. So there's a bunch of emotions listed there, and you just take a minute to say, what am I feeling? So try this for yourself right now. Take a minute, close your eyes if you need to, and ask yourself, what is the emotion that you are feeling right now? And so there's going to be some choices here, and you pick one of those. And so maybe it's feeling numb. Maybe you're still in shock. Maybe it's feeling angry or nervous and anxious. Maybe it's depressed. Or maybe today you're feeling a little bit more hopeful because it doesn't seem to hurt quite as much today. But tapping into that is important. And then there's a writing prompt. And the writing prompt that I happen to just turn to right now is, I need to forgive. What do you need to forgive? Do you need to forgive someone else? Do you need to forgive yourself? What do you need to forgive? And so you take a moment and you think on that. And then there's several spaces to be able to journal on that. And again, it doesn't need to be perfect. It's really just jotting down some of your thoughts and getting some things that you're thinking about out onto the paper. And then the third section is always about gratitude. And there are 3 things that I ask you to choose to write down when it comes to gratitude. And gratitude is so important in this because gratitude is about what you already have as opposed to what you've lost. When we go into grief and when we're deeply grieving, we're focusing so much on what we don't have, what we've lost, what we wish we had and don't have anymore. So taking time out for gratitude to say, yes, this loss is here, but what do I have? And so the question that's in the book says, today I choose to find gratitude for what I have rather than what I've lost. I am grateful for. And there's a spot for 3 things that you are grateful for. What can you be grateful for today, in this moment? Is it for still being alive yourself? Is it for finding videos that are helpful? Is it for having this time to be able to just think about yourself and your own grief when the world is crazy around us? 3 things should be very simple to write each day. And then finally, the 4th section down here, and it's just an empty box that you can write whatever you want in it. And it says, what do I need today? And it's taking a moment to dive within and to ask yourself, what is it that I need today? And some examples would be, today I really just need to be by myself. I need to spend some time by myself. I need to just like take a break from the day-to-day, everything that's happening. And I need to spend some time by myself. Or maybe it's the opposite. Maybe you've been by yourself and you've spent too much time maybe alone. And you say, well, I really need to spend some time with some other people. So I'm going to call somebody and ask if we can go out for a meal, or maybe go out for coffee, or go for a walk. Maybe it's, hey, I just need to get out in nature by myself. And maybe feel the sun on your face if you can do that these days. Winter is coming. Maybe it's being out in the snow and feeling the crisp air that's so wonderful, that really makes you feel alive. So what do you need today? That's the last section. And it's a place to put your thoughts down. And there are sections in here where it's just some blank pages, where you can just jot down, random thoughts, or maybe draw a picture, or whatever comes to you, because it'll be different for different people. And then, once you get a number of pages, there's some celebration there and opportunities to look back on, what have you experienced by using the journal, and how is it going to help you? So I want to invite you to get a copy of this. And if you haven't joined my Facebook group on Facebook, I want to encourage you to do that. So I just created an event. So I believe it's November 7th of 2021. We are going to get together as a group in that group, and we are going to do some of this work together. Again, it's to remind you that you don't have to grieve alone. So I don't want you to feel like you have to do this journaling on your own either. So we're going to walk through it, and I'm going to guide you through it to get you started. So if you want to be in that group, please do that. Please get your copy of this. I will drop a link below. The book is available on Amazon, no matter where you are in the world. You can get it from Amazon. I know there's some already on their way to Canada. Wherever, I don't know even where they're manufactured, where they come from the Amazon stores somewhere. But it's something that we're going to do, and it's a way that I can continue to support you on your grief journey. So thank you for watching this. Please let me know in the comments below what else you need, what else I can do for you. If you have questions, we can answer some of those during that same time in the group. If you pose a question below, I can create a video for you as well. Again, if you have a question, it's likely a question that other people have as well. So thanks so much for this overview of a grief journal with writing prompts to get you started. And it's all about finding hope, love, and grace in grief. We'll see you in the next video. Thanks, everybody. Bye.